Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions. Today we're discussing the original 2007 Jaeger-LeCoultre Duometre, a chronograph, a watch that represents a 300-piece debut edition for one of the most innovative chronographs of the 2000s. The Duometre, a chronograph, was a watch also launched in white gold with a black dial, and I owned that one. And mechanically and dimensionally, this is identical to mine. I loved that watch, so let me explain what is so special about this piece. The first thing is that it's big, but it's not too big. In yellow gold here, 42 millimeters in diameter, 13.9 millimeters thick, and then from lug tip to lug tip, 50.2 millimeters. Mine was the same size. I wore it every day for 4 years. 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw it on my wrist so you can see how it fits me. Now, there is a 40.5 millimeter Duometre, but in my opinion, the aspect ratio of the case is best suited to a 42. The smaller watch looks a little bit too much like a tall cylinder, whereas this has a broader, more handsome, more elegant aesthetic. That said, if your wrist is substantially smaller than my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, you're gonna have to go for the 40.5. But if you can, go with the 42. This looks really good, it feels great. And it's not too thick, and under 14 millimeters thick with a sloped bezel, it will slide underneath most cuffs. The strap is high grade, as you can see right here. We have large, rectangular, symmetrical scale alligator leather, a very high quality cut of the animal, gloss finish, monotone stitch. There is some bolstering to give it volume, that's stuffing. We have a folded edge, and then on the bottom you can see small round scale alligator. This is used more and more on straps from the best brands. It adds expense, but instead of using calfskin lining, as is more common, the small round scale gator on the bottom creates a much more durable, longer lasting strap. You can see this is JLC's latest factory spec strap with pull tab spring bars. You can pop this off without resort to a tool, and we have a full clasp. Also, a note about modern Duometre models. For a long time, some versions have been shipping with pin buckles. This kind of watch at this price with this stature deserves a full clasp, and so you get that right here on this original 2007 Duometre. The original Duometre, and in fact subsequent limited editions, often included a individual number plate on the dial. But what's more remarkable about the dial is that unlike, for example, the rose gold with its granular white finish, this is a lovely sort of cream eggshell. It's really attractive, and it's a beautiful complement to the yellow gold. Normally, I wouldn't say a big yellow gold watch is my preference, but second only to the white gold black dial, this is really attractive. This might be the version to own if you like colored gold. Skip the rose, go straight for this. The case is handsome and in some ways a little bit evocative of a langa. So we have these stepped lugs, and if you get really close, you can see that the lugs are welded on, which is a laborious and slow-going way to make a case, but a wonderful way to make a premium timepiece. You can also see double finish polish on the flank versus satin on the case. The flange of the bezel and the case back both polished, and then we have a very soft bevel on the edge of the lug. It's almost impossible to see, but it's there. We've got a crown that is polished and media blasted with a double knurling pattern, two different types of knurling on this crown. This is a crown built only for the Duometre, not used by any other JLC watch. You can see the chronograph mono pusher features both satin and polish. The attention to detail is exquisite. A bezel with a vertical lip and then a conical profile, giving way to a dial that is bifurcated, so split down the middle, and it's symmetrical on both sides, close to symmetrical. On the crown side, we have the power reserve indicator, both sides, two barrels, independently wound, independently run, but both sides are 50 hours. We've got a 1/6 of a second foudroyant, which is actually part of the drivetrain of the chronograph, allowing you to resolve periods of time as small as 1/6 of a second. At center, you can see how we have the time of day and the time power reserve at left. Well, we have coaxial overlapping chronograph seconds and central running seconds, which creates a really strange sort of pirouette as they dance in sequence. What we've also got is a dial that features overlapping superimposed chronograph hours on the bottom, then chronograph tens of minutes on the top. And if you need a greater distinction to read the individual minutes, you can read them right here. So, for example, we are approaching 1 hour and 59 minutes right there. So there's that little digital indicator for the individual minutes. Now we do have a stop seconds function, just like that. And we have those two barrels on the case back. Each one has a ratchet, like a Grande Sonnerie, so it doesn't move in the opposite direction it should, and that it ratchets and freewheels while the other barrel is winding. So you just rock back and forth, and each direction winds one of the barrels. One barrel provides power solely to the chronograph. The other provides power solely for timekeeping. The result here is that when I engage the chronograph, unlike any other chronograph in existence, I don't lose balance amplitude. Now, FP Journe achieves that with twin drivetrains, one off the barrel, one off the arbor, on his Sontograph. But the FP Journe Sontograph, although it doesn't lose amplitude and slow down with the chrono running, it burns through its mainspring energy faster. It goes from 80 hours of power reserve with the chrono off to 24 with the chrono on. Whereas here, because you have two separate power sources and two independent drivetrains, the only place they converge is the escapement. When you double the demand for power, you also double the supply of energy available. So it's the only chronograph that can run its chronograph and lose neither power reserve nor balance amplitude. Okay, you can see all of these features on the dial are applique and gold, as well as blackened gold for the chrono functions. On the back, we have caliber 380, which was the beginning of the JLC dual wing movement family. You can also see there's individual numbering on the back. You could see that JLC has its maker's mark on the case, that it is 50 meters water resistant. Don't take it swimming, but that's solidly more than the dress watch standard of 30. You can also see it's been through the Master 1000 hours control, which is a 6-position fully cased up chronometry test, and these duometres are designed to run no worse than -1 + 6, maybe -1 + 4. It's a very exacting standard for the duometre family. So beyond the chronometry test, in 6 positions again, as a cased up watch, not as a bare movement. Remember, COSC is 2 weeks, bare movement, 5 positions. This is 41.6 days, 6 positions, fully cased up watch. Also testing for durability, for power reserve, for function, for water resistance. Debuted in 1992, Master 1000 hours was one of the first in-house standards that went beyond the COSC. This movement has it. It's a big movement, this caliber 380, properly sized to fit a watch like this. So the movement is 33.7 millimeters in diameter, and you can see it's made of German silver. If the case looks a little bit like a lunga, the movement is even more so. So German silver is what we call it, at least in English, if we're speaking of a German watch. Maillot is what they call it in the Vallée de Joux in French Switzerland, where this is made. And in both cases, Lunga and JLC use this material because they're referring to the pocket watch era. So this watch is based on an 1880s minute-repeating deadbeat second chronometer from the JLC Heritage Gallery Museum. Probably used a Victorin Piguet twin drivetrain, a Bausch, and this watch movement looks exactly like the inside of that pocket watch. So this is a system that was long difficult to series produce or produce serially, and with modern technology it was possible to make this reliable and compact enough to fit in a wristwatch. You can see the balance is free sprung, it beats at 3 Hertz. All the adjustment is done using variable inertia screws on the balance rim for durability and precise adjustment. You can see 4 crenellated towers. You know when you see 4 towers, you're talking about a mono-pusher chronograph. And then you can see the start, stop, and reset action at center. So the clutch here is a little bit difficult to describe. It's not a vertical clutch. It's not strictly a lateral clutch. The best way to describe it would be, since there are 2 drivetrains, you engage and disengage the chronograph. The chronograph always has its drivetrain under tension. So when you free it to operate, it's already meshed, so there's no play. So it engages as smoothly as a vertical clutch would. Watch this. See how it doesn't jump? So it engages smoothly like a vertical clutch, but it is not a vertical clutch. It's not really a lateral clutch either. It's one of the anomalies of this watch. It's sort of its own thing. So 49 pivot jewels, twin barrels, both 50 hours. You can see that all the screws that are used on the bridges are fired blue, but then screws that are used on the chronograph components as well as the ratchets, those are mirror polished, so it has both. The barrels feature satination, solarization, and beveling. They're made of steel. The bridges and the base plate are all German silver. You can see engine turning on the base plate, beveling better than anything you'll find under $100,000 in the JLC catalog. These were flagship watches, so even though they sold mostly in the 40s and 50,000 range when new, they were finished like things that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. JLC didn't want to embarrass itself. And then we have the Sunburst Côte de Genève, the Côte de Soleil, and the Duometre Chronographe has this lovely sun ray motif radiating out from an imaginary center point atop the KIF shock protection spring. To remind you that 2 separate movements, 1 case, but only a single escapement. A very special watch and one that's near and dear to my heart. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.